Greetings, I am David Daoud, Principal Analyst at Compliance Standards LLC, and this is our IntelliTAD roundup on the ITAD sector evolution for the week ending September the 23rd, 2025. In this seventh installment of IntelliTAD, we addressed the massive ITAD market in the hyperscalers data center. The special report offers the industry's most comprehensive and most realistic analysis on the evolving landscape of the IT asset disposition in a hyperscale data center segment. We researched and documented the hyperscalers decommissioning practices. We researched vendor access barriers and infrastructure refresh cycles of the world's cloud giant. And so I think this report provides unparalleled insight into how these technology leaders build, operate, and retire their massive global infrastructure. We want this report to equip ITAD and recycling firms, investors, OEM, technology providers, and compliance professionals with the right intelligence on market sizing, on segmentation, hardware flows, and go-to-market strategy. It includes a pragmatic assessment of what we call vendor partnerability and access, of course, a detailed leadership grid, SWOT analyses for each hyperscaler, and a candid look at what it takes to break into these accounts, from specialized certifications and on-site capabilities to risk mitigation and global compliance, with strategic recommendations for adapting to tight internalization, regional logistics, audit requirement, and new global ESG mandates. This is, as far as I'm concerned, an in-depth study that is an essential tool for any executive or commercial leader looking to capitalize on the high value, high complexity, and fast-growing opportunity at the intersection of hyperscale IT and IT asset disposition. If you're an existing subscriber to Pulse, you have access to the full report. If you are not a client, you can purchase it, or you can request a premium presentation by following this link. We also looked at ITAD company Procuri delisting from the Singapore Exchange on September the 22nd. As you know, Procuri Corporation Limited was delisted from SGX following its privatization by Exeo Global Asset Holdings, with shareholders receiving cash and Exeo taking full control. As a global provider of IT lifecycle services across Asia, Europe, and North America, Procuri now looks set to integrate its compliance-driven ITAD offerings with Exeo's established infrastructure business. Our compliance standards, we expect this move will help Procuri expand internationally and offer deeper enterprise solutions supported by Exeo's resources and long-term focus. Finally, in the world of ITAD marketing, we are sharing with you what we've been tracking and generally what we've been tracking for our own research. At the end of each month, we at Compliance Standards sift through the marketing of ITAD companies to identify or flag interesting patterns and interesting trends that may be taking place in the industry during that particular month, and which would tell us a story about what's going on. And most of the months, of course, things are stable with no major events, but in some months, events spike, and so we try to document them for our own analysis. Now, while no major announcement was picked up in the month of September 2025, it was still a relatively busy month of IT asset disposition and lifecycle management companies from a PR marketing perspective. The industry's messaging post-Labor Day is consistently revolving around sustainability, data security, and market consolidation. And while not new, the September announcements somehow reinforce the importance of these functions in ITAD companies. Usually, our monthly checks, as I said, are for internal consumption to form our views on the sector. But we're pleased to share with you the major theme that we've noticed in the month of September. First, sustainability takes center stage. Throughout September, sustainability has graduated from marketing to what is starting to sound more like a business imperative. For example, SKTES released a blog which highlights their progress towards net zero carbon and zero waste operations. ERI's latest blog dug into how responsible recycling reduces e-waste for organizations and consumers alike. ITAMG echoed similar sentiments, emphasizing that proper disposal cuts toxic waste, meets regulations, and recover valuable raw materials. Centrix IT got specific in their blog, showing how reuse and careful recycling extends device lifespans and reclaim rare metals. Secondly, security and data integrity are always essential in those messages. Now, even with all the buzz around sustainability, security remains non-negotiable for ITADs. Centrix IT issued a warning to CISOs: don't overlook strict chain of custody and physical safeguards or risk data breaches. ERI went further, asserting that secure data destruction sits at the heart of responsible e-waste management. And from these messages, obviously the consensus appears to say something like that environmental goals can't come at the expense of protecting sensitive data. Thirdly, circular economics and value recovery have been highlighted in this month's marketing. Many September posts focused on maximizing the value of retired assets. ITAMG's guide breaks down how tracking inventory and refurbishing gear unlocks value that might otherwise be lost. In a series of blog posts, Ingram Micro Lifecycle tackled re-commerce myths and explained how smarter logistics and return processes boost recovery. Cascade Asset Management encouraged firms to link financial management with ITAD strategy in its FinOps titled Crawl, Walk, Run webinar. We also saw plenty of news about capital markets and consolidation. As reported earlier, Procuri has delisted from the Singapore Stock Exchange, and Exo Global Assets Holding took over and bought the remaining shares. DMD Systems secured a strategic investment from Tailwind Capital, and Iron Mountain upsized a 1.2 billion euro notes offering to refinance mature debt. While the debt deal isn't specifically earmarked for the lifecycle or ITAD unit, it reinforces Iron Mountain's ability to sustain and accelerate investment in its fast-growing strategic division. These moves show ITAD service providers are gearing up for scale and an evolving competitive market. Finally, the story on humanizing brands and about company culture. Some firm used September to humanize their brands, including introducing new employees, spotlighting current employees, etc. Such employee spotlight pieces, coupled with sustainability story, may reflect actually a broader industry trend towards showcasing corporate values to attract customers and talent. Now, taken together, September's news and releases show that the ITAD sector is responding to higher sustainability standards, more stringent security demands, and growing need to extract value from aging equipment. Behind the scenes, though, consolidation and new investments signal that providers are repositioning for growth, where ESG and responsible resource management are now clear competitive edge. Until our next talk next week, thanks for listening and goodbye.